Hello, my name is Selena. I'm part of Group 3 of Tutorial 4, along with my other group members, Junjie, Willow, and Govi. Beginning in the early 1995, Bertelsmann Music Group, or BMG Entertainment, a music company focused on working with artists to create albums, had been one of the most eager major music companies to embrace the new technological trends in the market by using downloading technology to promote the sale of traditional pre-recorded CDs and cassettes. A growing trend that many industry analysts and participants predicted was that customers would eventually be able to purchase music on the internet for a fifth of what major labels are currently charging, driving the future of the industry into an adapt or perish state. The CEO of BMG Entertainment, Strauss Zelnick, was caught in a dilemma on how to service a newly found group of digital customers, including online retailers that sold CDs and cassettes to individual customers, storefront retailers that were establishing online operations, public websites that allowed customers to download music directly, and individual customers who were visiting BMG's music's websites. Today, our group would like to present to you an insightful analysis on BMG Entertainment through four different perspectives: a pestle analysis, Porter's 5 force model, key success factors, and strategic groups. The pestle analysis is a framework commonly used by marketers to analyze and monitor the macro-environmental factors that may have a strong impact on the organization's structure and mode of operation. PESTLE is an acronym for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. Companies can use the information collected from this analysis to develop strategies to improve performance or adapt to new changes. Junjie will present a deeper analysis of BMG Entertainment and the music industry. Michael Porter's 5 force model framework is a comprehensive tool for assessing the attractiveness and profitability of an industry in a strategic marketing context. These 5 forces include rivalry amongst existing competitors, threat of new entrants, bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of buyers, threat of substitute products and services. Willow will speak more about the levels of each force and factors that create the relevant level of power. The key success factors are characteristics defined by industry conditions that are important for the success of an organization. These can be found once external forces and needs are identified and industry responses are recorded. The industry responses are closely linked with strategic groups, which are a group of organizations in an industry that adopt a similar strategy. An analysis of the organizations in an industry using pairs of key variables selected for that industry, indicating how organizations group on the basis of the strategies they have adopted. Govi will shed more insight on these factors and their importance for bringing tactical changes to BMG Entertainment.
Hi everyone, my name is Junjie Ma. In this part, I'm going to examine the macro environment of the BGM using pestle analysis. So let's move on to the PowerPoint. A pestle analysis is a framework or technique for analyzing and monitoring macro environment variables that might have a significant influences on the performance of an organization. When beginning a new firm or entering a foreign market, the tool is quite helpful. The first factors in pestle analysis is a political factor. There are two factors that impact BMG Entertainment. The first one is bilateral relationships. If there is a bad relationship between the two countries, some additional limitation might be implemented, which have a negative impact on BMG Entertainment. The next one is government regulation and deregulations. The regulatory process are in accordance with the international standards, which has aided the country in improving its easy to doing business rating. The second factors in PESTEL analysis is economic factor. Economic factors of the country and region have a direct impact on the potential attractiveness of the given market. For BMG Entertainment, they need to consider the employment rate and inflation rate. A higher employment rate will provide enough customers for BMG products, and it will make it expensive for BMG to hire talent and skillful employees. The inflation rate can impact the demand for BMG products. For example, the higher inflation may force a BMG to continually raising prices to keep up with the inflations, resulting in weaker brand loyalty. The third factor in PESTEL analysis are social factors, which have a huge impact not only on the national economy but also on the available of the labor and talent and the level of consumer demand. For the BMG Entertainment, they should consider the age distributions as the population of the United States and the European Union ages. The demand for the products that cater this demographic will increase. Before developing new products, BMG should think about demographic trends and include the features that cater this group. The next factors in PESTEL analysis are technological factor. Technology, as we all know, is rapidly changing business models in variety of industries. As the world's fourth largest media company, protecting intellectual property is a top priority for BMG. So BMG should focus on the environment for the intellectual property rights before entering a new market. The last two factors in PESTEL analysis are environmental and legal factors. For environment factors, BMG should focus on recycle policies and comprehend recycle policies in prospective market. For legal factors, BMG should pay attention to data protection laws, and they must determine what the country's data regulations are and what it must do to comply with them.
So now we're just going to run through Porter's 5-sector analysis, which are crucial for kind of identifying how the particular industry functions. So first of all, we need to determine what industry BMG actually falls into, and through assessing the case study, we can narrow this down to BMG being part of the music distribution industry. So first of all, we have supply power, and in this particular industry, supply power we can consider to be high or strong. This being due to there being only a few key players within the industry, being the likes of BMG themselves, Sony Entertainment, Universal, and then Warner Bros. Music groups. This industry also has a strong sense of forward integration. An example of this being the fact that Sony can compose and produce certain songs, which are then played on a Sony Walkman device. There's also few substitutes in the industry because it's just dominated so much by these few select companies. The buyer power within the industry is moderate. This is due to there being some factors which are more lenient to a strong buyer power, and then also some factors leaning to a low buyer power. This being the fact that there's a high amount of buyers relative to the amount of suppliers. There is not many available substitutes, as already mentioned, because so much of what is produced in this industry is from these core companies. There's relatively low switching costs between, and there's also not much product differentiation between the companies, as shown through the case study. Most of these companies have record labels which produce all types of different music categories. So as for the competitive rivalry within the industry, we've deemed it to be quite strong. This coming from strong brand identity, as consumers or buyers are more favourable to the artists which promote certain record labels or companies. There's high exit costs coming from the licensing and contractual agreements that take place within the industry. There's a lot of similarity between suppliers, as already mentioned in the previous slide, how each company has a record label that's unique or suitable to each music genre. And then there's also high industry concentration. As mentioned, these companies, even though there's only a select few, they make up such a high percentage of the wealth and sales within the industry. So now moving on to the threat of substitution within the industry, we can conclude that it's quite low due to there being the lack of possible substitutes and the fact that the industry once again is mainly controlled by these few key companies that we've already mentioned. So for example, if a certain buyer or consumer decides not to promote a certain company by not buying a certain CD or not downloading their music, when they then go to turn on the radio or watch a TV show or see a movie, the likelihood of songs that are still composed or produced by these companies being shown is quite high. We now move to the threat of new entry, which we've also deemed to be low. This is due to companies can start on a local scale and gather some following, but they just won't be able to compete with these massive conglomerate companies that we've already mentioned. Also, the entry costs are quite high, and there's a lot of capital needed to start. And if there is these new companies that do start up, there can be great retaliation from these already founded controlling companies we've mentioned. They can just easily buy them out. There's also a sense of strong brand image and loyalty between the labels and the products that they make.
BMG Entertainment. The first one is market positions. BMG position within the industry, which is measured by the company market shares, such as from the users, viewers shares, and advertising revenue shares for electronics or online media, or number of circulations for print media, then trend and vulnerability of market shares and size of business, whether it's growing, stable, or declining, revenue stability and growth, area of coverage, and types of media coverage or portfolio, as well as trends for substitutes are also diligently examined. The analysis also includes risk assessment on growth trends clinically and substitution by technology or other service, which could affect the revenues and profit stability. Second one is diversification. BMG ability to manage diversification in terms of various contents and market segmentations for electronics media, including the productions house, the range of media types of regional diversity for print media, the good location for recording, which will certainly help the sustainability of the BMG revenue. The analysis also includes revenue on BMG's ability to diversify agency and advertiser, as well as widen advertising customers base in terms of products groups or categories to prevent concentrations and increase level of bargaining power. The ability to diversify its program sourcing could also help the company control its operating costs. The third one is marketing and innovations. BMG ability to manage good relationship with the user of our viewers, advertisers, and agencies, which are important factors to maintain revenue stream. The analysis also includes reviews on the BMG entertainment, creativity on innovations for electronic media, development of media portfolio, which could help the company attract new users or viewers, and advertisers to support their operation as well as to obtain good ratings. The fourth one is BMG ability to control costs, which could partially be addressed by a vertical integration operation. BMG ability to improve its operating efficiency is also analyzed truly, including the analysis of BMG capacity utilization for print media and the company's performance relative to its peers. This is also operating margin is also accessed by comparing the BMG ratios with other players in the same industry or other industry with similar characteristics, which is important in analyzing the company's competitiveness. This is helpful to measure operating efficiency and BMG's flexibility in adjusting selling price. Then the last page is strategic group of our entertainment industry. As we can see, the strategic group, Universal Music's group has high numbers of users, which high percentage of users willing to purchase digital music, following the BMG and SME. SME is Sonic Music Entertainment. Among the other companies, Warner Music Groups and EMI had been the last to announce for online activity. Therefore, it's a low and low.